Now listen, I know we're all in our no buy or low buy era. I am not. So welcome. We listen and we don't judge. So today I thought I'd share a quick kind of recap of what my most recent jet pens order looked like. I typically order about like once a quarter-ish from jet pens, and to be quite honest, I meant to place this order in December and I placed it on like January 2nd, I believe. And it arrived fairly quickly given like the holiday season and just, you know, delays with mail delivery, specifically in our area. I'm not even 100% sure what was going on, but things weren't quite coming in the mail as quickly as they normally would. And so yeah, it finally arrived a couple of days ago, and I'm super excited about some of the things I got, and some of it was just some restocks. So let's jump into restocks first. So I went ahead and I grabbed a couple of the Tombow brush markers. I have been leaning more towards the hard tip brush markers. This is what I typically use in like the headers of my planning pages, my daily pages, and what I letter with the most. And I started to notice the ones that I had been using on a pretty consistent daily basis. By the way, you're going to hear my dogs. They're kind of like the background noise in a lot of my videos, and they are hanging out with me today and playing with their toys. So you're just gonna have to listen to that. I did grab two of these. I typically have quite a few in my pen pouch, and some of mine were starting to get really worn down. For a while I was using the soft one, just so you can kind of tell the difference if you're unsure and you've got a couple of these in your pen pouch. Like the gold is the soft tip and the silver is the hard tip. I feel like you have a little bit more control with the hard tip than the soft, but I also feel like for a beginner letterer, that the soft tip might be better. It's definitely going to come down to personal preference, but yeah, I have quite a few of these. I haven't purchased any in well over a year, and mine, like, it's kind of hard to tell, but the tips were getting pretty like just worn down, dried out, and I said let me just grab a couple of those. So I do have two more. I need to toss out the ones that are dried out instead of keeping them around and getting frustrated with them, but I love having a few of these in my pen pouch with me, and you can never go wrong with having backups of a marker that you actually use. The other restock was this MT Grid washi tape. I was starting to get nervous because I purchased one a little over a year ago and we're almost down to the very end of this roll, so I decided to go ahead and grab it. I love the black and white grid. It's really bold and it pairs nicely with other washi tapes if you're wanting to layer. So the black and white MT Grid washi tape for me was definitely a must-have for a restock, especially because I do use it. I very rarely repurchase washi tapes, but this is one that I know I will probably purchase again and again. Okay, let's jump into some new things. I was recently watching one of Helen over at the Coffee Monsters Co. TikToks, and she shared that she was using this cream whiteout or correction tape in her hobonichi, and I've seen these kind of floating around here and there on various social media platforms, and I figured it was about time, because one thing I know how to do in my planners, it's make mistakes. I think that we all do, right? And sometimes it's okay to just cross them out. Sometimes you're just like, I really need a good correction tape, and this is a good one, you guys. I did get two different sizes. I got the 2.5 millimeter and a 5 millimeter. The 2.5 is going to be good for like your hobonichi weeks, and then the 5 is going to be good more for like your cousin, for that grid size. And of course I went ahead and tested it out, and this is how it's going to look, and I hope that it really captures it, because one of the things about specifically the hobonichi weeks is that the paper is definitely more of a cream color, so whiteout, traditional whiteout, just, it does not look cute. In fact, I think it literally makes things look worse. And the blending in, the way the the cream just sort of blends in with what's going on here. I hope you guys can kind of see that, because you really can't see it, which is the whole point. It blends right in with the cream paper, which is just perfect. And that's the one that's the 2.5. You can see I haven't even opened up the larger one because I've only gotten to use this a couple of times since I got it a couple of days ago. And I would say if that's one of the things that holds you back, is things like there's not a matching correction tape out there. Well, there is. It's by this brand Wiper, I don't know, Wiper. But if you search cream tape over on Jet Pens, then it's gonna be fairly easy to find. And I think that this is like one of my favorite things that I will definitely reorder. I want to say I tried it out in my cousin, and I'm trying to find where I did that, and I honestly I'm not sure that I can find it. It may be on this page where I did pen testing of markers and I messed up. Oh, there it is. I think it's somewhere over here under the H in brush. But it also blends in really nicely, even though the hobonichi paper is slightly lighter, not as creamy. It'll work just as fine. It looks very, very like just hidden on the page, which is what we want when we're doing correction tape things in our planner. All right, I went ahead and I grabbed another A6 cover for my A6 hobonichi techo, and I'll be really honest, the reason why I ordered it is because I like the color yellow on the inside of this cover. I love the outside of the cover. I'm gonna leave the name of this cover on the screen here because I don't want to butcher it, but I also do love the illustrations on the outside. I have no idea what they are. I really don't. To me, they're just unique and fun and kind of hilarious. Like, I have no idea what that thing is. These kids, are they running from the fire? I'm not really sure what's going on. There's a rocket, some flowers and some grapes. It's so freaking chaotic. I have a feeling that this is going to be very, very symbolic of the next year or so. I don't know. This is hilarious now that I'm looking more at the drawings on here. Anyway, I love the yellow. I love the yellow. Let's open it up. I currently just have my hobonichi techo in this cover, and there's nothing wrong with it. I love it. I love yellow. If you know me at all, I love yellow. It's one of my favorite colors. I don't know that I want to hide my stickers just yet, but I like the way that looks. And if you like open up to a page, again, it's aesthetics, and also I think the cover is just incredible. I feel like it might be giving me vibes of my cover that I used previously on my A6 with all of like the little doodles and things like that. And I think that that's also another thing that I loved about it. I don't know. I think it's really cute. I love that there is like the comic vibe on the inside of the cover, like the inside here, things like that. And I think you also get a sticker, which is really cool. I believe that this is the artist. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this is the name of the artist. And I love when they include that in these like sort of collaborative designs. And yeah, I really love this cover. In fact, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and put my A6 in it right now. I have a cover on cover, which if you're not familiar, it's not this cover. It's a clear plastic that you can put over this cover, so it's slightly bigger. I don't use them too often because it kind of gives like my grandma's couch vibes. Like I come from the time when our grandmas had plastic all over the couches and they were very painful in the summer to get off of, so a little bit scarred there. So I don't think I'll put this on here. We will see. This very light background makes me a little bit nervous, but I'm excited for this. What we have left are these markers, which I already swatched in my hobonichi cousin. I love these. I have already had, I think, 3 or 4 of the Sailor Shikiori markers. I hope I pronounced that correctly. And I saw that on Jet Pens, they had the entire set of markers. I love these. Like I said, I had 4 that I grabbed here and there over the last couple of years, and I started to add other colors to my cart and I was like, wait, this is starting to add up really, really quickly and get very expensive. Not that these aren't expensive as a set already, but I was like, if I'm gonna order them individually, let's just go ahead and get the whole set instead of doing this nonsense. And just go all in. I love having complete sets of markers. It is something that gives me great joy. Okay. I went ahead and swatched them yesterday and it just made me even happier that I got all of them because I love them all. These are so great. So these are dual-ended markers. One end is brush tip, and I want to go ahead and also show you how they compare to a couple of other markers. So one end has the brush tip and it looks like so. It is not as long as it may appear on screen, but then you can kind of see the difference between the Sailor and the Tombow. The Tombow is definitely more broad in my opinion. I feel like you can get smaller, more detail with the Sailor marker. I also personally kind of like that there are not as many colors, if that makes sense. I don't know if they make muted colors in the Sailor markers, but that would be awesome. But this is all I've been able to find so far. So that's what you get on the brush tip, just to compare those two, because I feel like Tombow is probably going to be the most comparable. If you wanted to compare the size of the Tombow brush tip, which I feel like this is unfair because mine is just so worn. The Tombow Fudenosuke is like nowhere near close. It's super tiny, super tiny. So I don't feel like that's a really fair comparison. Now the other side of the marker is very, very fine tip in comparison to a Tombow. A Tombow is more like a blunted, like a Sharpie marker, if you will. And the Sailor is definitely more of like a pen, but a marker, if that makes sense. It's more like a 0.5 and this is more like a 1.0. So you're definitely going to be able to get more detailed with the Sailor marker than with the Tombow. Also, if this matters to you, note the size of the marker is significantly smaller from the Tombow to the Sailor marker. So if you have a pouch that doesn't necessarily hold super long markers, then maybe something like the Sailor markers might be more a size that you would prefer. But I do know that cost-wise, you can find Tombows on sale more. You can find them at Michael's, things like that. I don't even know that they would carry anything like these at Michael's, so that's definitely going to be up to you. But I do like the colors that are in this set, specifically all of like the reds and the purples and things like that, and the greens. Those are probably my most favorite, the greens. But this was a set that I was like so excited for, and I went back and forth taking it in and out of my cart. I think a couple of months ago I went to go add it and it was sold out, and so I was kind of bummed and I was like, oh, it wasn't meant to be. And then I was checking out with this order and I was like, you know what, let me see if these are in stock. And they were. So it was just, you know, the girl math was mathing and I was like, yes, yes, let's go. All right, so that is everything from my quick little haul from Jet Pens. I don't know how often I will do these because again, I'm not in a no buy year or not even a significantly low buy year. My goal is to buy less frequently, if that makes sense. I'm gonna buy what I'm gonna buy. Like I just am. I think when you get a little bit too restrictive, it's kind of a setup for failure, but that's a video for another day. Anyway, I hope that you enjoyed. If you have any questions about any of the items that I mentioned in this video, definitely feel free to comment down below. If you have some faves that you love to purchase from Jet Pens, let me know. Let the class know, because I think sharing is caring and we get ideas from one another, and I absolutely love that. Anyway, if you enjoyed today's video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. And if you are already subscribed, make sure you click that notification bell so that you know when my videos are posted here on YouTube. As always, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.